Hello, my name is Rob Rundle, and I would like to preface by thanking you, Mr. Friedman, and the entire Los Angeles Dodgers organization for attending today's seminar on Zoom. I know it's very inconvenient, and we have faced a lot of tribulations. There is no doubt in my mind I would love to be there in person. Los Angeles is beautiful, and it would give me an excuse to cross the Mississippi River. It's been 5 years, but just thank you so much, and I hope you all are staying safe. I would like to dive in a little bit about my personal experience with the game of baseball before we dive into the topic. So for me, I'm 24 years old. I know I'm a young gun, but I've actually been involved in all facets of the game for over 20 years. I played kid pitch. I played throughout high school and college. I was a sports broadcaster one summer, and now I'm a coach in high school. And so I have seen it all, I feel like. And one thing that really inspires me and that's so unique is seeing how these kids are able to grow with the new tools and technology in modern times. You know, even when I was in high school, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but 8 years when I was a sophomore, I had to use a football girdle paddle to try and do some drills on my own. I didn't have the luxury of getting a personal coach or trainer. I had to do everything by myself. And so I would use a football paddle and try and field ground balls to work on my hand-eye coordination. It wasn't the best thing, but I made it work. But we're going to go ahead and dive in and talk a little bit about Major League Baseball and your organization and how you could benefit from our company. So we're going to start off, first of all, when we talk about Major League Baseball, it's a love-hate relationship, it seems like, for all fans, right? What do fans love to see? It's the long ball. Fans love to see the long ball, home runs, right? Who can hit the furthest home run? As you can see, Bryce Harper in Major League Baseball is one of those highly marketable players that can hit the long ball, right? And if you see this chart, it's an extrapolation. You can see the progression. And so the numbers on the left side are by the thousands. So in 2015, just under 5,000 home runs were hit. But last year in 2019, almost 7,000 home runs were hit, right? So that's a positive increase. Well, if we take a look at the orange bars, that's errors. And that's a flat line. Now, when you see charts, usually you want to see an increase, right? You want to see an increase. But for errors, what you want to see a decrease. Because when you have players that make errors, what happens is those players get on base and then those home runs happen. Now you're seeing a huge fluctuation of runs at a high increase, an abundant amount, I should say. And it is not good for the game. And fans hate to see their team lose, and they hate to see their team make errors. And I know in your organization, you would probably feel the exact same way. So what we need to do, we need to find a way to get those errors to decrease. We want to steadily decrease those numbers, and that is based off of the MLB average. Another thing that we need to see and what we need to do is limit the players on the DL, which is now called the IL or the injured list. From 1998 to 2015, over 8,000 players in the league have been placed on the DL, which means owners are losing money. General managers are incapable of signing the players that they really want, especially when it comes close to the trade deadline. So if we take a look here at example A, player A, let's say, has an AAV of $1,820,000. And for those who don't know, which I'm sure you do because you are in the front office, AAV stands for average annual value. So that is based on the year, okay? So the daily salary for a 182-day season is $10,000. To the average person or the average fan, that's a lot of money. And I understand there's a lot of money made in baseball. There's over $10 billion made in 2019 alone. It is far from being a dying sport. But when you have one player just on the DL at this AAV for 15 days, that costs the team $150,000. That is a lot of money that could be put to other things. You could be signing minor leaguers. You could sign your draft prospects. And when you see this number, 40.5%, that is the percentage of players on the disabled list that either have an elbow issue or a shoulder issue. And we all know that Corey Seager, your shortstop, had Tommy John in 2018 and has still dealt with some elbow issues. So I think this is really beneficial. So how can we fix this issue, right? We want to ask ourselves, how can we lower errors and how can we reduce the risk of injury for our players in our organization that'll save us money? Well, believe it or not, the answer is Primed. Primed is a company that specializes in pancake training mitts. So I have one right here in front of me. And this mitt, you can find at Dick's Sporting Goods. It's $24.99. It is the cheapest training mitt that you can find on the circuit. You know, you can go to Rawlings, you can go to Wilson. Yes, they have gloves themselves, but those will run you over $200. With Primed, you have genuine leather and you get that real glove feel. So you can actually, as you can see, I have my hands placed in the glove just like I would normally. And so each player has their own comfort style, which is really unique. So for me, I used to like to go 2 in the pink, as they call it for baseball lingo. So you put 2 right there in the pinky because you want to try and mold the glove or just get comfortable like you would be in the field fielding a ground ball. And so what this does, this works with your hand-eye coordination. This works with your hand-eye coordination when you field ground balls. And it's $24.99. You can't beat it. There are a lot of other consumers out there that are looking to try to find Primed. We're in Dick's Sporting Goods. We're the only training mitt that is in Dick's Sporting Goods right now. And we could really help. And also, Primed, like I said, to go more detail, it's cost effective. So yet again, if we look at player A on the 15-day disabled list, right, that's $150,000 down the drain. Now, in your organization, I looked it up, you have 280 players in your farm system. That includes all minor league teams and, of course, the Major League Ball Club, the Los Angeles Dodgers. If you take 280 times it by 25, that's only $7,000. Think of how that lowers the risk for your players, because when you get this glove with better eye contact, hand-eye coordination, you're able to get to the ball a little bit slower, but your hands move quicker. So you're not risking yourself to have to charge for these baseballs and throw across your body. You know, if you have good hand-eye coordination, you can let the ball come to you a little bit more, set your feet, make a good throw, and lower your risk of injury. This would be very beneficial to Corey Seager, who just had Tommy John in 2018. And we know that he had some hamstring issues too. And a lot of that is because of that simple reason. He's thrown across his body. He's thrown the ball an exuberant amount of times across the diamond. So in the long run, this could end up saving you a lot of money, keeping him off the DL. And so one of the visualizations I like to see that how this benefits, I want to give the example of Marcus Semien. Marcus Semien was acquired by the Athletics from the White Sox in 2014 for Jeff Samardzija, and he was ranked 23rd among qualified shortstops in 2015. And there was only 23 on Fangraphs. And so he was dead last. His fielding percentage was .947 on the season. Absolutely atrocious. As you can see on the graph, there is an astronomical spike in fielding percentage. In 2016, he gets it up nearly 30 points at .971. And a big reason of that was because he used Primed, the training mitt. You know, every day he would take balls in the infield from Ron Washington. And for those that don't know, fielding percentage, 1,000 is the highest that you can get. So that is near perfection. Okay, when you're talking Gold Glove caliber, which he was in 2018, especially in 2019 when he finished third for AL MVP, that's very good. And so when Ron Washington was working with him, he was using Primed, and he was using this. He was using it for his hand-eye coordination, front hands, back hands, slow rollers, and it really paid dividends for him and the organization. And Marcus Semien was only injured once in all these years with the Athletics. And that year was in 2017, and it wasn't even because of a fielding issue. It was from he broke a bone hitting. So it really does pay dividends for your team and the player's health because he doesn't have to charge a ball. He can let the ball come to him. He can set his feet, make a good throw, and he lowers the errors, which causes a higher fielding percentage, which is great for the organization, which is a huge reason why the Athletics made the playoffs in 2018 and 2019. So for you, for actions, what you can do, I call this Corey Seager and company, right? Because this is mainly for Corey Seager. But why not target the other prospects, the other minor leaguers in your organization? Get them prepared before they even get a chance of coming up to the big leagues, right? You do not want to see them on the disabled list. So in 2019, Corey Seager had a .967 fielding percentage, which is the fourth worst in all of Major League Baseball. And like I mentioned before, he had Tommy John in 2018. He's only 26 years old. Could this have been eliminated if he had primed or another type of tool that could have helped him? You know, maybe if you condition a little bit more and whatnot. And if you condition with prime, you're gonna raise that fielding percentage and you're gonna lower that risk of injury. But Mr. Friedman, I'd like to thank you so much for taking this time in the Dodgers organization. Thank you so much. And you'll see attached are the citations for this pitch. Thank you so much and have a great day.